What's up, everyone? Welcome to another Tuesday Q&A. Remember how last time I said I was going to start doing these more regularly, and then I didn't do one for like a week? That's, I guess, par for the course for me. So anyways, we're back Tuesday evening. I got the chat pulled up here. So as usual, let me know where you guys are tuning in from. I like seeing that. This is a Q&A stream, so you can ask me a question in the chat there. You can @ me at Rhett Shull. It will highlight your question so I can read it, or you can leave a super chat or top chat donation, and for which I greatly appreciate. Also, before we get started, a quick announcement. We are still doing pre-sales for my brand new acoustic guitar course, the Cowboy Chord Breakout course. This is a 1-hour mini course that's basically for those of you who feel stuck playing the same cowboy chord voicings and you don't feel like you're able to break out of that. Or even if you do know more than just your standard cowboy chords and you want to help start to get a better understanding of playing up and down the neck, getting some different chord voicings, some different approaches, that's for you. So link in the description. That's, I think 50% off is the pre-sale price, and we're never going to discount it that much ever again. So check that out. David, what's up, man? In the studio. Chattanooga, nice. Arkansas. I just flew over Chattanooga today. I had to fly home from Nashville today, which I've never flown. And all the times I've gone to and from Nashville, hundreds and hundreds of times, I've never flown. And let me tell you something. It was the roughest flight of my entire life. I've felt turbulence before, but this turbulence, actually, as we were coming over Chattanooga today, I mean, it was like the plane started shaking and rattling, which is not unusual, right? I've been in turbulence before. It is what it is. But and I should preface this, like, I'm not afraid of flying. Airplanes don't scare me. I love flying. I'm about to hopefully start the process of getting my pilot's license at some point soon. But this scared me. This was freaky. The plane started shaking, and then it felt like the pilot pulled back on the yoke because we all got like kind of pushed back in our seats, and you could tell we were climbing super hard. And then that lasted for a few seconds, and then the plane just fell. I mean, it was like somebody pulled the floor out from under the plane, and we fell, and we must have fallen a few hundred feet or something. But you were like weightless in the plane for what felt like a few seconds, and like people were screaming, like in the cabin, people were hollering and screaming, and I like grabbed the seat in front of me, and then we went back up again, and then kind of leveled back out, and then it was just shaky. It was not fun. It was a 40-minute flight, but it was the worst flight I've ever been on. You know who hit a pocket? I guess so. It felt like it was like we hit a pocket like a vacuum. Like there was no air to generate lift over the wings, and the plane just went and dropped down. So yeah. Let's see. Sean is a Cubs fan. Thanks for Top Chat, man. What day were you at Chicago Music Exchange? I was there Saturday. Saw Richie Kotzen and met him. Great musician. Also, would you prefer EL34 or 6L6 tubes? Cheers from Chicago. So I was in Chicago on Friday or Saturday. I think it was Friday when I was there. So I was on the road the last week. I just got home today. I was out with Noah and Good Trouble. We did 3 shows. One was opening for Night Ranger, which was rad. Hell yeah. Night Ranger was amazing. They kick ass. They sound amazing. I would highly recommend going to see Night Ranger live. That was in Louisville, and then we drove to Chicago. We had a day off in Chicago, so I went to Chicago Music Exchange and shot the video with Nathaniel Murphy that hopefully you've seen on the channel. And then we played in Romeoville, Illinois on Saturday. And then we drove to Nashville on Sunday. And last night we played Whiskey Jam in Nashville and had a great set. Last night went really, really well. Packed club. It was good. Good time. So do I prefer EL34s or ER6L6s? If I had to pick, I'd probably say 6L6s of the two. but I'm beginning to learn that I think power tubes in an amplifier don't have as much impact as I previously thought. It's much more about the circuitry, it's about the preamp circuit, it's about the tone stack, output transformer. Those things have as much or more of an impact on the amp than the power tubes do. So speaking of amps, I pulled the Morgan AC20 out. It's been a while since this thing has made an appearance on the channel. And I kind of got my studio board stuck back together today. So got a little board cam here. Right now, nothing is on. That is just guitar into amplifier. I got the Zeo Boost. Sounds really nice. The preamp Mark II. And I got you can't see it, it's off camera. There's an expression pedal set to the volume, so you can. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be playing through tonight. All right, let's get caught up on some questions here. Don't forget, if you're just joining us, get 50% off the brand new acoustic guitar mini course. Link is in the chat, thanks to my lovely wife, Tilly. And that pre-order price is going away on Friday. So, yeah, those socks, Dave. Yeah, I got pink socks on. Look at it. There you go. Pink socks to match the guitar. See, G Fox Rocks. Hey, Rhett, looking to upgrade my classic vibe Strat. What should you upgrade first? That's a good question. I think the most bang for your buck upgrade is going to be pickups. If you're looking for a drastic change, you want to completely revoice the guitar, pickups. Now, what pickups you should get, that's completely subjective. It's up to you. But also, I'd recommend installing them yourself. That's something that I think is worth doing. If you don't have a soldering iron, get a 40 watt soldering iron on Amazon and watch some YouTube videos, learn how to solder, and install your pickups. After that, electronics, if it's an import Strat or a more affordable guitar, a lot of times you can upgrade pots and wiring. That's not going to have a huge impact on your tone. And then hardware, things like tuners, bridges, the switch, 5-way switch, things like that. But yeah, start with pickups. Oh man, lots of chats coming in here. Appreciate the support, y'all. Let's see here. Alonzo, thanks, man. Love that you bring us inside your road gigs. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. So there is going to be a Backstage Journal vlog coming of the run last week. Should be pretty fun. Gringo Pines, hey Rhett, saw everybody but Zeppelin. What's your take on an SG and Mesa Boogie MV35 combo? I mean, it sounds like a great combination. I don't know that I've played that particular Mesa. I actually haven't played a ton of Mesa Boogie amps. I don't have a ton of experience with them, honestly. They're not at least they haven't in the past been my go-to amp. But I will hint, I did go to Gibson Garage in Nashville on yesterday. Played some Les Pauls. The hunt for the Les Paul continues. But obviously the amps they all had back at the Gibson Garage were all Mesas. And I played the Fillmore, and I actually had a good time with the Fillmore. You know, it felt nice. So, yeah, there you go. Culture Trash, how are you liking those Mythos humbuckers? Thinking of getting a set for your Ceres TC. I really like the Mythos humbuckers. So in that video, a lot of people were talking shit about the Mythos humbuckers. And that's fair. You don't have to like them. You know, they're not for everybody. But I thought it was a marked improvement over the Wiz PAFs, which I still have. The Wiz PAFs are fantastic. They sound great. But I like the Mythos pickups quite a bit, and I'm going to be keeping them. So, yeah, there was something else I was going to say about that I've since forgotten. But yeah, a lot of people were talking trash about the Mythos pickups. They didn't like them, but I will have you know, Tim Pierce watched the video, and Tim Pierce liked the pickups. He thought they were an upgrade over the Wiz, and as far as I'm concerned, if Tim Pierce thinks something sounds good, then there you go. That's all you need to know. When are you playing near Atlanta again? I will say announcements haven't been made yet, but I don't know if I should announce this yet. Noah and the band, we're going to be putting on an event in Spartanburg in October. So for those of you that live in or around the greater Atlanta, Charlotte, Columbia, Asheville, upstate South Carolina, North Georgia, Tennessee area, I think you should come out. Middle of October. Like I said, it hasn't been announced yet, so I'm not going to give dates or anything like that. But there's me something pretty cool coming. Frank, thanks, man. I appreciate the tip. Craig, you put a deposit on a Ceres J custom built, 7 1/4 to 9 1/2 compound radius. That's cool. I didn't know they would do compound radiuses radii at Novo. That's cool. Told Devin in orders to send you 2 Christmas cards. Okay, cool. Thanks, man. Thoughts on stainless steel frets? You're a little torn. You know, I like stainless steel frets. I have a few guitars that have stainless steel frets, but I don't know what would the downsides of stainless steel frets be. I'm actually not sure. I think they're great. They feel great, especially on when you're bending or with vibrato. They feel super smooth. For those of you that haven't played stainless frets, they feel very, very smooth, and they last. They last a long time, which for someone like me, I'm a very heavy-handed player. I have the touch of a blacksmith, and I dig in my frets. This guitar had a fret job recently, not a refret, but just a crown and level. So it's good to go, but after playing this guitar for about a year, I had damn near ruined the frets. So stainless frets are great, I think. Twan, thanks, man. Greetings from the Netherlands. I love your country. The Netherlands is great. I've wanted a Gibson SG for a long time, but recently fell in love with a Dutch-built Relic P90 offset, very much like the Nova. What do you think I should go with? Go with your gut. Here's the thing. So I've been looking for this Les Paul for a few months, kind of just passively, not looking super hard. But for a long time, I've wanted a lifer Les Paul. I like the Les Paul that I have. It's great. It's a Gibson USA, late 2019, early 2020, I think. Yeah. From the new Gibson, the JC era, if you will. And it's a great guitar. But in 2019, we went to London, England. A lot of you probably know this, but we played this festival there called Nashville Meets London. And in order to save from having to fly a bunch of guitars, I asked Gibson to loan us guitars while we were there, and they did. And we went to the Gibson showroom, and I picked out a custom shop Les Paul. It was the Collector's Choice Dutch Burst. And that is the one guitar that got away from me. It was amazing. It did the thing. It had the mojo, whatever you want to say. So much so that when we were sitting in the showroom and Noah was grabbing a guitar and we were sitting down kind of playing some stuff, I plugged that custom shop into a Black Star amp they had in there and just started playing it. And everyone in the band and our TM stopped what they were doing and were like, what is that guitar? That's different. That's something special. And I let it go. Well, I didn't let it. I couldn't afford it, basically, at the time. And so I kick myself still to this day for not trying to get my hands on that guitar a little harder. And I've been looking for a Les Paul ever since that sort of matches the Dutch Burst, which we lovingly named Taster's Choice. So somebody has it. Somebody emailed me that bought it and said they have it. It's in Europe somewhere. Anyways, I say all that to say, when you're playing a guitar that makes an impression on you in the moment, like this guitar did, I was not looking for this guitar when I bought it. I was looking for something completely different, but I played this guitar, the Ceres J, and it stuck with me for over a month. And it was my wife, Tilly, who's here in the chat, who basically after a month or so of waffling back and forth, because this guitar was expensive, took everything I had to buy this guitar. She was the one that told me, yeah, you need to go get that. So my point is, when you come across something, a guitar, an amp, a pedal, that really makes an impression on you, you should try and make it happen. Follow your gut. So there you go. Wow, I missed a lot of questions here. Let me get caught up. Let's see here. Yuval, I've been thinking about going on a casino in Warren Olive, similar to the one you went up, upgrading pickups, electronics. Thoughts on buying one blindly online without playing it? I think you're pretty safe. The new Epiphone stuff is really good, really, really good. And if you're gonna be upgrading pickups and electronics and stuff, anyways, I think you're probably pretty good. Steel Samurai, I've been thinking about getting a Solus. Does Novo do a D-shaped neck? They do 3 different neck profiles. This Ceres J has their thinner profile, and then my Solus has the thick profile. And I'd say it's more of a C shape than a D shape, but it still feels great. Let's see here. Let's see. Chris Green in the top chat. Oh, I missed it. Here we go. Hey, Rhett, just curious if you've worked with any blind musicians, either in the studio or on the road. If you have any fun stories. I'm a guitarist and also blind. Play primarily in the Northwest U.S. Thanks, man. No, Chris, I've never worked with any blind musicians. There is a gentleman in Nashville who I saw years ago just playing in a bar. And when I say playing in a bar, like he was playing in a trio, and they were playing swing and gypsy jazz, and he was blind, and I can't remember his name right now, it's escaping me, but he's a well-known like in Nashville player, and it was some of the most unbelievable guitar playing I had ever seen. He was playing, if I remember correctly, he had the guitar in his lap, and he was playing sort of lap steel-esque in a way, but playing fretted, and it was unbelievable, man. I was with my friend Benjamin Forehand. We went to this 12 South Tap Room in 12 South, and they were just set up, upright bass, kick and snare and hat, and him on guitar, and they were set up like on the floor next to the bathroom, and we just walked in, and we were there to hang, and me and Ben were trying to catch up, but we just sat. I think we ended up sitting like on the same side of the table next to each other, just watching them the whole time, and it was unbelievable. So no, I don't have any experience yet, but what is that guy's name? I can't remember. Somebody in the chat, if you know who I'm talking about, let me know in the chat. Let's see. One more top chat. Tim Chapin, thanks, man. For someone looking to undertake your courses, what would you recommend starting? Where would you recommend starting? Are they designed to build upon one another? They're not designed to build upon one another. So it's a good question. Thank you for asking. I would say start with Fretboard Fundamentals. But what we do when we're designing the courses, even with the mini courses, is the first few parts oftentimes repeat themselves, but it's giving you a even starting ground, because I want someone who, let's say they bought the pentatonic breakout course, or they bought Fretboard Fundamentals, or they bought this new acoustic course, which, quick plug, is available for pre-order down below. Here's my little graphic. Pre-order until Friday, or link is in the description, link is in the chat. So the idea is that anyone taking a course, whether or not you have any prior music theory knowledge, I'm going to give you the basic theory knowledge at the beginning of each course to get you through the end of the course. I'm not assuming anyone has like a certain knowledge foundation. So with that in mind, no, the courses are not designed to build off of one another. With the exception of like Chords and Rhythm. Chords and Rhythm is the one that is sort of a deeper dive. So we have Fretboard Fundamentals, which is sort of the overarching course designed as music theory for guitar players. And then Chords and Rhythm takes a lot of the stuff that we talk about in Fretboard Fundamentals and just focuses in more on things like triads seventh chords, inversions, and getting you up and down the neck a little more effectively. So, yeah. Thanks, by the way, to everyone who's bought a course and has taken the courses. The support really does mean a lot to me. This is how I make my living at this point. And it's allowed me to focus on the things that I want to do, like YouTube and building a studio. And it's allowed me to focus on only taking the gigs that I want to take, like playing with Noah and Good Trouble, playing with Susie Jones. I really can't thank you guys enough for the support that y'all have shown me over almost like 4.5 years of doing YouTube. So yeah, thank you guys. Let me get caught up on the chat here. Any tips on getting rid of nerves before performing? Nar Bazaar asks. Well, be prepared. Practice a lot. I find that when I get nervous before something, it's often stems from feeling unprepared or like I'm not ready for whatever's coming. So I would say practice as much as you can, but also understand that nerves are part of it. And I would actually be more concerned if you weren't nervous at all, because I think that means you don't really care about what you're about to do. For me, I don't really deal with stage fright as much, but I do deal with nerves and anxiety around performance sometimes. Mostly around like how I'm performing or how I sound, or a solo that I played didn't sound right, or I didn't hit that part right, or whatever. But I've also played on stage a lot over the last 12 years. I've spent a lot of time on stage. And that's the thing, is it's sort of like a muscle. It's something that you get used to. At least it is for me. My experience is that the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with being on stage, and the less fear you have around it. But also understanding that fear means that you care and you want to do a good job. And just breathe, man. That is something I have to remind myself of all the time when I'm on stage performing, is to like think about breathing, like inhaling, exhaling. Because if you don't think about it, I will find myself actually like holding my breath while I'm playing, especially in a solo or something. I'll just be like this, and that's holding tension in your body, and then that will come through when you're playing. You will sound tense. You might be rushing. You might not be bending notes on the right pitch. Whereas if you're conscious about your breath, you're conscious about being relaxed, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your jaw, I find that I play better most times. Not always, but Andrew, you're obsessed with playing Norwegian Wood or the Beatles. What am I obsessed with playing right now? I think oh, Jonathan Stout. Yes, Rory Hoffman. I believe that's who it was. Armada, any plans on a music production course for guitar players, maybe using Luna? That's a good question, and I actually would push that question back to you guys. I have thought about doing more music production based content, especially as the studio build is coming along and I'm doing more stuff here. Like I've gone to more of a hybrid mixing setup, so when I'm working on my videos, I'm mixing with outboard gear and things like that. But I also understand that right now this audience is primarily a guitar playing audience. And I feel like most people who are watching this channel are not music producers, songwriters, or recording themselves at home. I could be wrong about that. So I would love to do more music production content, especially as I learn more about music production. This is what I'm really excited about learning right now, is recording and drum sounds and mixing and vocals and all these different techniques that take a lifetime to master. So yeah, I mean, is that something you guys would be interested in? That's what I'm obsessed with playing right now. Craig Donovan, Nova got a Plek machine recently, so they will do compound if it's custom build. I just got a Fender Custom 59 with 7.25 to 9.5. Try one. It's perfect for me. Stainless changes the highs, but who knows? Yeah, the compound thing is cool because I like a rounder radius lower because it's better for chords, I find. But it's once you get up here, it's a little harder. It's a little harder to play. Although I will say the Silver Skies that I played that have had the really round radii have been pretty easy to get around. The guitar just has to be set up for it properly. Patrick says production videos and deep dive into how you put together your vids. Okay, so that's actually something that I talk about from time to time over on the Inner Circle. I haven't talked about the Inner Circle very much. It's also linked down below, but the Inner Circle is my sort of like my version of Patreon. It exists on the same platform as my guitar courses, and my Inner Circle members get access to all the guitar courses. So like this new acoustic guitar course that's going out now, the Inner Circle members have access to it. And over there, I get around to, when I have time, I get around to posting sort of behind the scenes content about, you know, my camera setup or this live streaming setup, and answer questions and stuff over there. So you can check that out down below if you're interested in that. Watchmaker says, hey, can you play us a little bit of Survivors? Great song. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, my band, Noah Guthrie and Good Trouble, we've been working on some new music, and there's a new song called Survivors. It's not recorded yet, but it has shown up in a few vlogs, and it will show up again. But the way that came about was Noah posted a TikTok. If you follow him on TikTok, he's doing a lot over there, actually. It's at, I think, Noah Guthrie over on TikTok. But he posted this little bit of the song that has become Survivors, and I saw it on TikTok, and I heard the part. I heard this riff, but it was just Noah playing acoustic, and that part wasn't there. So I saw it right before dinner, and I came home from dinner, and came upstairs, opened up a Luna session, and then just tracked a demo. I programmed some super shitty drums. I played some bass, and I just put together what I thought the band should sound like on this. There's no vocals or anything. It was just my rhythm parts. And then I sent that to the band guys. And next time we got to rehearsal, we took that and just kind of tweaked it together, and that became Survivors. So the riff is really easy. It's the song's in F sharp. It's just, this is the chorus, the verse, and he does it. And then it goes up to 2. Sorry, I'm not a singer. Then 4. Back to 1. And then there's a pre-chorus, which goes flat 7 4, so flat 7 E major, 4 to B, and then the riff is just pretty simple. It's basically the riff from Feel Like Making Love, which I didn't realize until after I made the track. So let's see, make sure I didn't miss a top chat here. Scroll up. Okay. Steven Rawlings, thanks, man. Thoughts on the new Strymon V2? I have the L cap and love it. Thinking of getting the Dig and the Deco presets, make it awesome. Yeah, I have the V2 Flint on my board right now, on the touring board, and I like it. But I loved the V1 Flint. Now, I will say I haven't noticed a huge difference. I think most of the changes are kind of under the hood and some user interface things which make it better, so that's cool. But yeah, I'm a big Strymon fanboy. You know, you can at me in the chat on that one. For those of you just joining, we are still running pre-sales on the brand new acoustic guitar, the mini course that we have out. Pre-sales are ending Friday. You can get 50% off the course. It's a 1-hour course about breaking out of the cowboy chord positions, getting you up and down the neck. So check that link out in the chat. Man, I gotta say that Zio pedal, the Source Audio, this little boost is one of my favorite pedals this year. I love this. Up, clipping a little. Okay, hold on. Let me fix that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we are clipping. Just bring the preamps down a little bit. There we go. Yeah, sorry. I was hitting the preamps a little hard there. David SJ, you're never going to be a Vox tone person? Oh, come on, man. This is like... That's just the amp, the Morgan behind me. It's... That sound, that super, like, mid-rangey compressed thing is so good. So that's the... preamp Mark II, and then just a volume boost, and then bring up a little bit of treble, bring the bass down. So we got kind of like a mid-range boost thing happening. Get into the... I think that sounds great. Plenty of bite, plenty of articulation. Yeah, I love it. London Video is one of my favorites. You should let your board die and play the Vox more often. Thanks, David. I would like a tourable version of my AC30, my 64 AC30. I love that amp, but I'm definitely not going to take that out on any gigs. It's a museum piece. It's a studio piece. And the modern AC30s don't sound like that one. So I've thought about getting another divided by 13, the RSA 31, which is Rusty Anderson's signature that Fred does. I have the RSA 23, which is this black and white one behind me here. But the RSA 31 is, I think, their version of an early 60s AC30, which is not what the RSA 23 is. It's a different thing. But I've also just thought about reaching out to like Daniel at Port City or somebody and seeing if they can take that amp and just clone it. I want that amp. So, Philip, 40 Watt Podcast, what's up, man? You got the RSA 31. It's amazing. It's very much their version of an AC30. Yeah, which is cool. I mean, there's plenty of people that do like their version of an AC30, but the thing is, I want that one. I want my version of my AC30 that I can actually take out and use. Jethro, you ever mess with Dr. Z amps? Occasionally. I would really like to check out a Z-Rec. I haven't played a Z-Rec in a long time, and when I did, it was just a real quick. I couldn't turn it up at all, which is not how a Z-Rec is designed to function. Give your AC30 to James Santiago. Yeah, there you go. That would be it. Oh, Philip, you'll be in Atlanta. We should hang out in November. Let's see here. Rob Cunningham, do you have any favorite or two R&B pop guitarists? I really love Paul Jackson Jr.'s work. So I grew up listening to, my parents listened to a lot of like Luther Vandross and Janet Jackson, a lot of like R&B stuff from the 70s and 80s and 90s. So I grew up listening to a lot of Paul Jackson Jr. without knowing it. And learning later who he is and what he's done, I'm a big fan. What reverb am I using? This is the AxeFx. This is the Spring, the 63 Spring, and then I'm going into the Space Echo, the RE202, and that's giving me. Here it is without the Space Echo. So the Spring is, and then I've got a Cave setting. I mean, I'm telling you, man, the HX stuff is super, super good. Time Warp says, you've inspired me to build a pedal board this year. Nice. As a 15-year-old guitarist, you can take inspiration in your writing use of effects. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Do you plan on creating a new live board? So, yeah, I'm kind of thinking about a new live board right now. So for this run of shows I've had in the last like 6 weeks, I just have been using these little small pedal boards that I'm just throwing together. Like the Quad Cortex Fly Rig has actually been really great. I've been using that a lot. And then for this last run, I just took my little mono flat board that usually sits here in the desk, and I just threw some stuff on it just to take out. But I do find myself kind of missing my old live rig that Mason built me with the switching and having all my options and everything. And so I'm thinking about having him build me another Vertex board for live. So this board Mason built me about 2 years ago. This is like, I call it my studio board, the YouTube board. And essentially it's just, the dual tiered Vertex board. And based around the AxeFx, this is kind of the hub of everything. And it's just a pretty straight ahead board. There is an interface in the back up under the preamp Mark II with 2 effects loops in it for the AxeFx. So I can patch in like my tape echo or any other outboard effects, but otherwise it's pretty straightforward. And I wanted that for this board because like today I ripped off this whole bottom row of pedals and put new stuff down, which I like doing for a YouTube board or a studio board because you're constantly changing stuff and trying stuff out. But for a live board, the way I like to think about it is you kind of just have your thanks, Wesley. Nice socks. you kind of just have your sounds and your stuff that you're used to, and that you know is reliable and that you can count on night after night. And I don't have that anymore. I just decommissioned the old live boards. So yeah, I think I'm going to have Mason build me another live board. Did I get to meet Willie? Brian asks. No, we did not get to meet Willie. I did get to go out on stage with him the second night for the end of the show, but COVID being what it is, and Willie being an 89-year-old living legend, they kept him under a very, very tight bubble, which is unfortunate because Noah got to play with him back in 2019 and got to meet him and talk to him and hang out with him for a bit backstage. But unfortunately, we didn't get to do that this time. So hopefully they ask us back. Hopefully COVID is less prevalent, and hopefully I can meet Willie Nelson one day, because it would be amazing. Dan in the top chat, for your flight chaining, just FYI, a guitar is a much cheaper hobby. Your wife is a private pilot. Yes, thank you, Dan. I've talked to a few people that have their pilot's license, and I've learned such, so it may have to wait a little while. But Tilly and I are actually both thinking about getting our pilot's licenses together, our private pilot's licenses. It's something I've always wanted to do. I love planes. According to my mom, my first word was plane, so I've always wanted to fly. I figure, why not? No time like the present. Let's see. John William asks, do you think there's still a place for tube amps / pedals among hired gun musicians? You became a hired gun, and many guys are using digital rigs, but you've struggled using your amps. Yeah, there's always going to be a place for amps and pedals. Everyone kind of has their own approach. Like all of the musicians that I've played with over the years, everyone's board is different. Everyone's setup is different. Talking about guitar players, obviously. And everyone that I've played with, for the most part, has had amazing tone. Whether you have a giant pedal board with a ton of stuff on it, ton of options, or you've just got a couple of things strung out on the floor, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, there's always going to be a place for tube amps and pedals with hired guns, but I think we will start to see more of a need for professional hired gun players to at least have some kind of direct option, because what's happening now is more and more gigs are, and I've experienced this, like, you have a radio date, for example, or you go on a radio tour. Well, obviously you can't bring your, 40 watt amp into a radio studio. They're going to want you to go direct. Or if you've got, maybe you're playing an opening slot and you've got a really quick changeover and they don't have the infrastructure set up, or it's just easier for you to go direct with a modeler or some kind of amp in a box pedal or something like that. That's going to be more prevalent. But I don't ever see a day where tube amps and pedals are a thing of the past for hired gun players. That's just my 2 cents. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate the support. Pink Sparkle Private Plane Fund. Fabrizio, have you tried the Amp 1 by Thomas Blug? I haven't tried any of the Blug amp stuff. I met Thomas at NAMM a few months ago. Talked to him. He was very, very nice. But I have not tried any of his stuff yet. Rob Cunningham, thank you for your interview with David Ryan Harris. Always wondered who that guy was. He's got some killer live videos with John and Isaiah sitting in. Yeah. David is amazing. And he actually just moved back to Atlanta, so I'm hoping to be able to do some more stuff with him in the near future, if he's willing to. But that dude is a hell of a songwriter, a hell of a singer, and a hell of a guitar player. He's a triple threat, man. And an Atlanta native. He grew up around here, so it's cool that he's back in town. Is it your only Rolex? This is not a Rolex. This is a Shinola Monster. I get asked about this watch a lot. This was my wife's 30th birthday gift to me 2 years ago. It is a Shinola. It looks like a Rolex, but it's not a Rolex. It is automatic, though. It's an automatic movement, and I love this watch. I wear it almost every day. Is JJ's going to produce a Rhett Shull slide? Probably. And if they do, it's going to be like made of rubber or something, I bet. Omar, what pedal is that? This is the AxeFx. So I've got the harmonic trim and the reverb coming from the AxeFx. Another one of my favorites is the Synesthesia. I use this one a lot. So this is a bad vinyl kind of sound. Hear that pitch modulation? So what's cool is to take that, then add a little slap back. There we go. That's cool. And then there's some other presets in here. These presets that I have in my Synesthesia, I actually got from Cyber Attack. If you don't know Cyber Attack, Ivan on YouTube, his channel's called Cyber Attack. You should absolutely check it out. He's one of my favorite creators on this platform. And he does such a good job with getting incredible sounds out of pedals. And he did a video called How to Be Advanced. It's the Synesthesia, How to Be Advanced. And I watched that video last year and just took a bunch of his presets. So like this one, this high glitch thing. Okay, so you think, okay, that sounds weird. How would you ever use that? But I actually did use this on a record last year in Germany that should be coming out, I think, relatively soon. You take that like really crazy chirpy. It's basically 2 octave ups stacked in series, so that it octave up, and then it takes that octave up and octaves up it again. Anyway, and then you put on a reverb after that, maybe a little delay. And now you've got kind of a vibe. And then you can roll your tone off of your guitar and get these really ethereal, like... And if you want to, you can really turn your reverb up. Turn that high cut down. And now we've got like a... a really crazy texture kind of thing. It's not right for everything. It's kind of a niche. But that's a cool sound. And then maybe we stack that with a really long delay or something. So we put the delay on after, the reverb. Turn the repeat rate up. We get this. All right. So I don't know what you would use that for, but it's a cool sound. Let's see what else is on here. That's a distortion sound. This, oh shit, that delay's gonna run away from me. This cool sort of stutter verb sound. This arpeggiator is cool. So, let's see here. I used this on a tiny song I did with Phil on his channel, Philip Conrad. And this is cool because you just pick one note. Then we turn on the delay. It's weird, but it's cool. What else is on here? Oh yeah. That's cool. We kick the reverb on there. I mean, if you heard that, if you heard me playing that without seeing me play guitar, I doubt you would think that's guitar. But that's the synesthesia. It's the synesthesia, which is giving you... I'll isolate this real quick. So this is what the synesthesia is giving you. That sort of organ sort of sound. Then some reverb. And then some delay. I mean, that's rad. Yeah, usable in a looping context. Yeah, I think so, Joshua. So that could be a really cool layer. You know, instead of like a keys part or something, you could get away with that. What's with the pink socks? Pink is cool. Pink socks are cool. I like pink socks. Paul recommended any iPhone apps for guitar players to reference chords and scales. You know, I actually don't know. I'm not really hip to what's happening in the app space in terms of guitar tuition. This is another version of the same sound that I put together. So this first preset is another one of those Ivan Cyber Attack presets, and then I tweaked that and made this. So this is just the synesthesia. It's a little darker, a little more textured. Then we get back with that big cave reverb. Kick on a little compression from the Nile. I mean, that's cool. It's good for like single note stuff too. I think it's cool, man. Doesn't sound at all like a guitar. I mean, that's what it sounds like. Dry. Still some compression from the Nile. Why do you guys care so much about socks? My God. Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool sound. All right. Take a couple more questions here. For those of you that are just joining in, don't forget, we've got pre-sale going on the new acoustic course. Pre-sale ends Friday, so you can get 50% off of the new course up until Friday. And then after that, it'll never be discounted that much ever again. So, yeah, pink socks definitely affect tone, Joe. It's like, it goes without saying. Oh, I forgot that I had like edited that reverb. It's like, why is it so... Maris Enzo, yay or nay? You know, the Enzo was hard for me to kind of connect with. I like a lot of the Maris stuff, but the Enzo just was tough for me. Maybe I should give it another shot. It has been a while since I've pulled it out, but maybe it's just not my pedal. Dan, when you're noodling, are you thinking in terms of notes or intervals or just messing around with shapes? Curious how you approach it. When I'm noodling mindlessly, it's not something I would recommend. I'm just kind of like messing around with shapes and chord voicings. Robert, what's up, man? Top 3 Rival Sons riffs? Electric Man. That's the one that's like, let's see if I find a fuzz sound here. Oh, God, how do you play that one? I can't play it on the stream because I'll get demonetized. Anyway, that's probably the best one. Philip, any tiered board options you like? Vertex is close to perfect, but the hard cases are big money for a non-touring guy. Have an RJM PCB6X and or 6 or 7 pedals. Yeah, so, man, here's what I would recommend. I like the Vertex tiered boards. This one I really love. I think it's a smart design. It's really well made. Now, this one I haven't traveled with, right? It's just lived its whole life in this room, basically. But I would say, like, if by hard cases, do you mean like a road case? I mean, I would say go with a Pelican instead. That's what I use for most of my cases. I do have road cases for amps and things like that, but road cases are expensive and they're heavy and they're a pain to deal with. So I recommend Pelican cases. And, for a smaller board, given your setup, I don't think you'd need a board as big as this. I don't remember the dimensions of this exact board, but for a smaller board, man, you could go with a Pelican case. And if you don't want to spend the money on a Pelican case, I would steer you towards Harbor Freight and the Apache cases. So the Apache cases are cool because, they're essentially like knockoff Pelicans. They're a good bit cheaper. They're not as good, frankly. I think Pelican cases are better made, and they're going to last you longer. But if you're not a touring guy, you're looking for something to like occasionally take it out to a jam session or a band practice or a gig or whatever, the Apache case stuff is great. I will say the main downside of Apache cases are the foam. The foam that comes inside Apache cases is trash. So what I would do is buy an Apache case from Harbor Freight. They're all basically the same sizes as the Pelican cases. So like if you got like a Pelican 1615 or whatever, then go on Amazon and order replacement foam for the equivalent Pelican case. So I don't know exact sizes off the top of my head, but let's say you got the 1510 version of the Apache case, and then just go on Amazon and get the Pelican 1510 foam, the pick and pluck foam, and have that shipped. I think it's like $30 or $40, depending on what size you get, and then use that in your Apache case, and you are golden. The Apache case stuff is cool. Now, again, for me and the stuff like a pedal board case, I would go with a Pelican. I like the Pelican Air stuff. This is not sponsored. I don't have any relationship with Pelican. Obviously, I just told you to go buy a Apache case. But if you're going to be flying a lot with your board or your gear, Pelican Air cases are what you should do. They're quite a bit lighter. They're like 30 or 40% lighter than the equivalent case of an equivalent size. And they're great. They're bomb proof. They are a little bit more expensive, but saving those 3 or 4 pounds can save you from going over when you're flying and having to check your gear, which thankfully I'm having to do more of recently. So that's fun. Although I did learn a little hack. Maybe I shouldn't say this publicly. There is a hack that you can do to get around. No, I guess this isn't a big deal. Have press passes made. You can get media badges made, not press passes, media badges made for your gear if you're flying a lot. And there's an airline rule here in the United States that if your bag is tagged with a media badge, the airlines won't charge you a overage fee if you're overweight. I have some friends in bands that do that, and they have great success with it, but they shall remain nameless for the time being. I love cases. Cases are one of my favorite things. It's kind of a weird... Analog Man effects, love them. They're great. Really, really great. Jason Irwin, AxeFx versus Quad Cortex. Just received the Quad Cortex today. Have the AxeFx, but haven't been blown away yet. Do you mean you haven't been blown away by the Quad Cortex or the AxeFx? Okay, so it's a valid comparison to make. Sort of. They are kind of two different units for two different players, I think, and they're in two different price brackets. If I was going to have one modeler, I'd have an AxeFx 3. The AxeFx 3 is the best modeler, in my opinion. It sounds the best. It has the best effects. The major downside of the AxeFx 3 is the user interface is hot garbage on the front of the unit itself, the rack unit. You can't see mine, it's over there. And I stand by that. I've had a lot of people argue with me about that. I did a video about the AxeFx that started a whole thing on the gear page, and people were, telling me I'm an idiot or whatever for saying that, but it's true. The user interface on the AxeFx sucks compared to the Quad Cortex. The Quad Cortex's greatest feature, I think, is the user interface, the touch screen and the encoder knobs that are also foot switches. It's great. The AxeFx sounds better. The effects in the AxeFx are way better than the Quad Cortex. I still think the effects in the Quad Cortex leave a lot to be desired. They're really not great. What I would say is if you're going to make the Quad Cortex your primary rig, I would put it on a board and I would use outboard effects in the loops, whether that be your Strymon delays or whatever. Use your outboard effects, and then I would profile your drives and boosts in the Quad Cortex because it does a really good job of capturing overdrive and boosts, not fuzzes, but overdrives and boosts. And that's how I would use it. I'd use it with outboard modulation effects, outboard time-based effects, outboard reverbs, and then I would profile my overdrives and boosts in the Quad Cortex and use it that way. The nice thing about the AxeFx is you really don't have to do any of that because it sounds damn good if you can get around the user interface or just use a computer to edit your presets. Yeah, Murray, a holy war on the gear page. No. So there you go. EJ, onion rings versus French fries. I got to go with French fries. Onion rings are great, but I'm a French fry, a pommes frites man myself. LGL Studios, you've lost your passion for creating music. Can't even listen to music. Feels invasive. How can I gain your passion back for music and music creation? Dude, take a break. I was talking to a friend of mine, actually Michael Westbrook, about this. Michael, who, if you don't know, is a fellow YouTuber here. He was playing bass with us in this last run. So he and I were talking about this, dealing with burnout or dealing with ruts in your playing and things like that. Take a break, man. There's nothing wrong with taking time away from your thing, whether it's a hobby or it's your life, your passion, your career. I mean, obviously not everyone can take time away from their job. Like that's, not feasible for a lot of us. But, when it comes to your question, how do I kind of develop your love for music again? Dude, take some time away. You're probably burned out. You've probably been doing it for too long. You've probably lost sight of why you started doing it in the first place. Take a break. That break could be for a few days, a few weeks, a few months. It doesn't matter. However long you need to get away from that thing and come back to it, it will come back. Your love and your passion is not going to go anywhere. Your guitar is not going to go anywhere unless you sell it. Don't sell it. And just take your time. And when you're ready to come back, when you're feeling more inspired, when you're getting over that writer's block, it'll be there. And you can tackle it then. The way I look at it, I'm going to be playing guitar for the rest of my life. I'm 32. I don't have to do everything right now, even though sometimes I feel like I have to. I'm going to be making music for the rest of my life. I don't have to do everything in the next year. I have to remind myself of that a lot. Sometimes it's good to just set the guitar down. And I do that sometimes. I get burned out on guitar. Sometimes I don't want to play guitar. And when I get that way, I don't play guitar for a few days. Sometimes I might not touch a guitar for a week. And there's nothing wrong with that. And what I find is when I give myself time away, when I give myself that break, when I do come back, I play better. I'm not playing in the same ruts that I was playing in before. I have better ideas. I feel more creative. I feel more inspired. And then that makes me feel more excited about making music again. What do you think about full tone going out and the state of the pedal industry, Richard. Well, I think, I read the statement from Full Tone, and I thought it was just the most douchey thing I've ever read. I mean, God, it was. I just laughed, and I've seen some of the memes that people have made, kind of poking fun at it, and I think it's hilarious. I've never owned a Full Tone pedal. I do think they're great pedals. I don't have anything against the pedals, but man, I really couldn't stand Mike Fuller's attitude about stuff. So, it really sucks for the employees, and it really sucks for people that are going to be losing their jobs. That's not cool. And for him to come out and post that, I thought it was so insulting to his employees and people that have bought his pedals and have supported his business all over the years. I mean, but I hope those people find better jobs elsewhere. And I wish them well. And I guess Mike can have fun going and playing his, what did he say, like 99 vintage guitars and amps or whatever. Like, cool, man. And then say the pedal industry. I mean, the pedal industry, I think, is doing better than at least the pedal makers that I know all seem to be crushing it. I mean, Zach at Mythos, I mean, those guys are killing it. They can't keep up with orders. So it seems like the state of the pedal market is great. Thoughts on Valko guitars, Harmonies, Supros, Airline? I think they're cool. I think if you're looking at vintage ones, you need to be really careful about what you're buying, because a lot of those guitars were not well made when they were new and have not aged very well. So just do your research, take a good look at what you're buying, and don't buy a turd. As far as like the new stuff that's being made, the new Harmony guitars, they are great. They're really, really great. Nathaniel Williams, you're left-handed and think about getting a Player Series made in Mexico Strat for a first electric guitar. What are your thoughts? I think they're great. In fact, so I had a phone call with Fender today, and I'm working on an idea for a series that I want to do called 5 Levels of. So think of 5 levels of Strat, 5 levels of Les Paul, where we would get 5 different Strats from Squire all the way to custom shop. And the idea of the video is not to say like, oh, let's do a shootout and compare and see how much better the custom shop is than a Squire. I don't think that's, we've done enough of that stuff. So instead, it's because I'm curious myself. I've actually never played the different levels of these guitars back to back to back. And I want to actually be able to compare them and see what the differences are and who I think each one of those players, each one of those guitars is for, because I think each level of instrument, whatever it is, Jazzmaster, Les Paul, Telly, each one of those is for a different player. And I want to know who those players are, in my opinion, what I think they are. So that's what we're going to do. 5 levels of Strat. But yeah, the made in Mexico stuff can be really great. I would say go play it first, and buy it from a reputable dealer. Buy it from a dealer who is going to back up the guitar, who's going to set it up, probably not Guitar Center. Find a good local shop or go to Sweetwater, go somewhere that's really going through the guitars, inspecting them. And I would say this for any new guitar purchase, especially if you're buying online. Buy from a reputable dealer, buy from someone that has opened the guitar, inspected it, looked it up, probably set it up, got it dialed in before they've sold it to you. So. Shane, what's your favorite Octavius-style fuzz, octave fuzz between 100 and 250 bucks? Do Octavias work well and clean up with humbuckers? Well, Octavia is a different thing than most octave fuzzes. What does that Star Eater fuzz go for? That new Pigtronics Star Eater. I love that pedal. Let's see, Pigtronics Star. Oh shit! I can't spell Star Eater. Yeah, 279. So it's a little bit more than what you were looking at. It's 279 Sweetwater. Oh wait, no, that's the Glomer. Hold on. Star Eater is 159. Get that. Pigtronic Star Eater. It's killer. Or the Mythos Argo. That's another really great octave fuzz. Which actually, so Argo, Mythos, what is Zach selling those for? Yeah, 179. Mythos Argo. Beatronics Octahive is another really great one. I think that's going to be a little bit more expensive. But I really enjoy the Star Eater. I really enjoy the Argo. The Star Eater is cool because it gives you some more options. It's got the mid-range switch in there. So you can have a few different sounds. You can also switch between silicon and germanium transistors. Yeah. Cool. Does a fully made in America pedal not exist anymore, Matt? In terms of what, like all of the components and everything being made in America? I'm not totally sure, but... All right, everyone. Well, I think that's going to do it for today. Appreciate y'all hanging out for another Tuesday Q&A. And don't forget, 50% off the Cowboy Chords breakout course. Link is in the chat and in the description. That pre-sale order ends on Friday. So, yeah, if you want to check that out, I appreciate the support. And I will see you guys later this week in hopefully a few new videos. We'll see. So, appreciate y'all.